Hi there, welcome to I Alone Fly Tarot. I'm going to do a tarot card reading for Aquarius energy, and then we're also going to get some cards out of the Intuit deck, and at the end we're going to ask what could be coming up next for people that they don't see coming, depending on if they harness a more high vibrational Aquarius energy or a more worldly shadowy Aquarius energy, because there's all sorts of people in their Aquarius energy out there in the world. Life's about learning lessons, and some people have learned some lessons that some other people haven't. Some high vibe people look at life from a higher perspective. They're able to keep life in perspective, not get all caught up in their head, and make decisions more out of fear or insecurity or pride or ego or lust or greed. And they're also motivated and inspired by love. And some other people might be more about themselves, might be more about ego or image or indulgence, or could be perfectly happy making their life about indulging themselves. And even if they get in relationships, they don't maybe really want to do love, because then you kind of got to put in, you have to emotionally invest yourself. And some people prefer to live more from their mind than their heart. Aquarius is air sign energy of the mind. And some people, it's like, I'll use my emotions, I'll use my sexuality, I'll use my mind to create the illusion that it's love, but I really don't want to do love. I have a risk of getting hurt, and some people won't do it. And we just need to see the truth of different people that we're dealing with in our life. Aquarius energy kind of talks about our dreams, our idea of the dream life, dream relationship. Some people's dream life is to be all about themselves, and they want other people to make it all about them. Some people indulge themselves, they want other people to indulge them. So just listen to your intuition about where you're at in the story, where some other people in your life are at in the story. Okay, we got an Intuit card. It's not showing itself, and it says sadness. So we can all go through experiences that make us sad. Some people work through that so they can release it. Other people, if you're operating more from your ego, you might decide, I'm just putting that out of my mind. I'll just keep moving forward. I don't have to deal with it. But if it's unresolved, it's still lurking there in the background, and it affects the decisions they make in their life. The reason that came out is because of rejuvenation and sacred space. So some people have done the work, they've worked through it, and they've gotten back to a place of being in a place of balance and peace within themselves. Some other people could be just trying to look to other things to be the answer. I don't have to deal with that. Let's go indulge in these things of the world, even if that is just a different relationship, to make me feel better. But that is more codependent energy, and it doesn't resolve the problem. And other people, we've all had to learn those lessons. Other people have just learned, I need to deal with it. Also, look at this as the overarching reason for the reading. The despair card is like the sadness card. The Five of Cups, Scorpio energy. We're these emotionally complex human beings. We're dealing with other emotionally complex human beings at their stage of having learned lessons in life. Not everybody wants to be our friend. Not everybody wants to date us. We can love people. They don't feel that way about us. High vibe people are willing to deal with the truth of it. The fire. Not everything works out the way I want. Things I can be passionate and inspired by and desire, other people aren't passionate and inspired by it. The ending card, which is like the death card in tarot. Say something doesn't work out the way we want. And the reason for this is karmic cycles. We have lessons learned from other people to help us get clear about our truth, and just seeing the truth of what drives and kind of motivates other people. Sometimes we get in relationships with people and we find out the truth that the only reason they wanted to be in a relationship was because they were sad about someone else, And then it can be, maybe I'm angry that something ended, and a way to work through this anger or this frustration or this sadness is, I'm going to bury it underneath the surface. The death card is Scorpio energy. which the Five of Cups, despair and sadness is Scorpio energy. I'm just going to bury it under the surface. I'm going to go take action to feel better. So then we have the Chariot, direction, gift, manifestation, journey. And the reason those came out is because of imprisonment. So emotionally, we can feel imprisoned when something didn't work out the way we wanted. And some people decide, I'm not going to deal with it. It's done. It's over. I'm going to move forward is what the Chariot can talk about. I'm going to go in a new direction. Oh, look, maybe there's someone else trying to manifest who wants to, that I wouldn't mind being in a relationship with, that wouldn't mind being in a relationship with me. But this journey card is like a black and white card, and the way the people are dressed is like the 1960s. Some people have repeated this pattern many times, that this is how they handle things. And some people do look to getting in relationships with some people as like the answer to their problems. Just like some people look to drugs or alcohol to make them feel better. Some people's vices, I just go get in a new relationship. But the whole thing is, if they haven't worked through those issues, because why didn't those relationships work out? How did we contribute to those relationships not working out? Where did we need to heal and grow and mature? How are we living in denial, living in fantasy land? You know, we've got to see the truth about ourselves. Some people don't want to do that or see that. We also have to see the truth about people we went to go try to get in a relationship with. If we keep going, and in the fire energy, we could be attracted to certain people. Why? It might be because we're trying, subconsciously, we can have some of these issues from our past that we didn't even know kept affecting us. You know, we've all grown up. We've all been in families. We've all worked with different people in our life. You know, needless, when we're children, we want the people we're in relationship with to move forward with us. The change card, being a picture of a vehicle, reminds me of Chariot energy, which is Cancer energy, which is love and home and family. When we're young, we're kind of inspired to move forward in love. And we want the people we're in relationships with to move forward in love. And we're very loving and hopeful and believing. And we offer that to people we're in relationship with for them to move forward with us in that way. But the thing is, they're adults and they have their own issues that they've went through in their life, which we're kind of still like a clean slate in a way. But they have their issues that they've went through. And those things that they've went through, some of those things kind of restrict them from being more just or fair or hopeful or believing or loving. And then we're in relationships with them, going kind of on a journey with them. And if they haven't dealt with some of their past pain and heartbreak, self-limiting beliefs, you know, we're trying to move forward with someone in that more hopeful, believing spirit, and they're still maybe trying to work through issues in their life that they've had to deal with that make them the type of person they are. And they could have somewhere along the way kind of imprisoned. This is an emotional figure here, and or a feminine figure here, and the feminine figures can represent, so we can apply it to everyone in our life, how we think and how we feel. And we can be moving forward with people that they kind of disconnected, is what the ending card can be, and a more shadowy Scorpio nature, instead of kind of being more hopeful and believing in love, we can kind of bury our more emotional nature beneath the surface. And then those are things we don't deal with, but we decide to keep moving forward and moving on with our life. Like, we're these emotionally balanced, loving people, but we have these issues buried beneath the surface. Well, then we're kids, we're in relationships with people, and as we're growing up with with other people in the world, elementary, junior high, high school, college, after that. We're dealing with all these other people that kind of have went through their own life experiences, and then we're accumulating ours, and the cycle goes on. So the whole thing is, I think we can be drawn and attracted to people kind of subconsciously, to people who we have unresolved issues with. Getting in relationships with people that we're kind of drawn and attracted to, we don't even know why. It could be like they don't even seem like my type. But the reason we could be drawn and attracted to them is they subconsciously, kind of beneath the surface, remind us of someone in our life who we wanted to have that more emotionally balanced, loving relationship with, but we didn't. And they have some of those same traits and characteristics. Just like some people say they grew up with an alcoholic parent. I am never going to date an alcoholic. And then they end up dating an alcoholic, And it is kind of a little bit in our ego. And because we have this unresolved heartbreak about the situation that we maybe didn't even think we needed to deal with. We thought we were over it. We thought it didn't affect us. But it does affect us. And we don't realize Scorpio does talk about the hidden realm and the mysteries of life, that we can be drawn and attracted to people like that because of these unresolved issues within us that we need to work through to free ourselves from. And so then it can be kind of trying to get in relationships with people who have these certain traits and characteristics, because this time there's someone we can be in a romantic relationship with. Well, now that I'm an adult and I meet someone, because I'm a loving, hopeful, believing person and I'm nurturing and all that stuff, I'll get in a relationship with them and I'm sure they will free themselves from the things that manipulate them. It's kind of crazy, though, that some of those people, for one thing, if they don't want to deal with those issues, they don't want to deal with those issues of their own. They are the way they have chosen to be and view life and live life. If they're immature, if they wanted to be more mature, they would be. If they're prideful, if they're egotistical, if they're bossy, if they're controlling, whatever. If they wanted to be a different type of person, they would, And we kind of need to get out of our ego about it. Everybody has the right to be who they want to be. If I notice certain people have certain traits and characteristics that I don't really like in people, to be in a more involved relationship with them, I should wish them peace and keep my distance. But, we got to learn those lessons in life. So we chase after people maybe thinking we can change them. The only person we can change is ourselves. We can provide love and encouragement to people and resources to people, but they have to make their free will choice to be inspired. The death card can talk about transformation. I have to be inspired to, with the Tower card here, can represent our own unstable foundation, our past pain, our heartbreak, our fears, our insecurities. I have to be inspired to want to transform that foundation within myself. Other people can be loving and encouraging and supportive. I can move forward with all my fears and my insecurities, and I can move forward with people that are like a gift in my life, who are loving, who are more emotionally balanced, who do want to manifest with me. They might have already done the work to reconcile themselves with some of their issues, to be more free, to be loving. The Tower can mean that some people have already detached from things in their life that kind of used to manipulate them. Scorpio's emotional water sign energy. Some people already were inspired to offer love to themselves and those issues from their past to move forward in a more just or fair or loving way. And you could have been that type of person in people's lives. People could have been that type of person in your life. But we got layers and layers of our shadowy nature and our past pain and heartbreak and stuff like that. But we can all move forward kind of in relationships with people that have got their own kind of issues buried beneath the surface. when we get in a loving, supportive, encouraging environment, some people are inspired. You know, now that I kind of have these supportive friends, I'm in a better workplace, I'm in a supportive, to some degree, maybe romantic relationship. Some people, when they're in those type of environments, they do kind of get inspired to want to work through some of their issues because they could know that if they don't, because we all kind of have made some bad decisions in our life, instead of having more hope and faith and belief and love and treating other people the way we like to be treated and being more just and fair, we all could have taken some more immature action or have our own bad vices to kind of make us feel better when we have some inner conflict. And when we're in a more supportive, encouraging environment, some people get inspired to, like, you know, I want to work through those things because I don't want to be the reason why this next relationship doesn't work out or this job. And again, the only person I can control is me. So I want to do this work within myself to work through some of my own fears and insecurities and how I maybe don't belittle or berate myself, or haven't dealt with other people who are kind of that way, to feel more emotionally balanced within myself and make better decisions in my life. And I want to do that work. And so some people, that's like a gift we give ourselves, to work with these things from the past, offer love to those things, because Cancer energy is about love. We offer love to those things so that kind of in the direction card, we stay on path, on the bumper guards of life, so we don't go drive our life off into the ditch, right? And everybody has to take that responsibility within themselves. But sometimes some people have already done that work. We kind of get in a relationship with them. We might, maybe previously, we were kind of the person who was the more loving, encouraging person in a relationship. And that kind of didn't challenge us to do some of this work. And then we can get in a relationship with someone who is kind of more on the same page as us. And we're kind of not used to doing that work within ourselves. And then we could make a bad decision. And then it did kind of, things kind of blew up. And then, you know, we've kind of learned how, if I'm kind of the more loving, encouraging person in people's life, I mean, not to mean that I still can't make immature or bad decisions in a relationship, but it just doesn't challenge you to grow and heal and mature yourself as much as it does if you kind of get in a relationship with someone who's more on the same page as you. And then people are just being loving and encouraging instead of trying to encourage people in their poor behavior. And then that type of relationship does kind of challenge you to work through these things. And getting in a mismatched relationship really can also, because if other people, we can be a loving and encouraging person to people, but then if they keep doing things out of their pain and heartbreak or fears or insecurities, you know, then we have to wonder, why do I stay in this relationship? You know, or a job. I need to go look for a different job. You know, romantic relationship, it's challenging because, again, in our Scorpio nature, we have all these conflicting thoughts and these ways we view people. And I really viewed them as someone I wanted to move forward with. I really wanted for us both to detach from some of these things and have this new beginning for both of us to transform our life. You know, I have love for them. I wanted us to move forward in love. And then it's really confusing. And it can be really hard to work through. If we know some people have some things that manipulate them, or they don't want to let their more authentic emotional nature come out to play in the world, and then they could kind of like to keep that aspect of themselves buried. They might want to move forward with you in a relationship. You know, there can be a lot of good things about the relationship, But it can just seem in fire sign energy that someone's more indulging, and having sex with you, but not really having high vibe Scorpio relationships, which is about deep, meaningful, authentic relationships. And it can seem like it is more on the surface. And then we're sad because I wanted to have that type of relationship because I do believe in love. And I'm in a relationship with someone who they've kind of, in their free will, chose. I've let go of connecting in with that nature within myself. I prefer to maybe align with my more emotionally defensive nature. I'm still inspired to want to be in relationships. I'm still want to try to work things out and look victorious and successful in the world. I just really find them confusing, my emotions, and I could get hurt and I just don't want to do it. And then, are you going to keep staying in a relationship with someone that maybe in a lot of ways can seem good, but, you know, it could just feel like we're repeating a pattern of the past, kind of indulging people who aren't really kind of more motivated and inspired by love. And there's a lot of people in my life that we do have to work with no matter what, friends, family, organizations, socially. And with most of those people, that's fine. We accept that everybody's at different places, have different motivations, different dreams. That's fine. You live your life, I live my life. Can we work together at workplaces, in the community? Yes. But if I'm going to be in a more romantic relationship, I want to be in a relationship with people who have freed themselves from these things that manipulate them, that in the death card stop them from moving forward in a more emotionally balanced nature. I would like for them to put their more emotionally fearful nature in a mental prison and let their loving nature be in the driver's seat of their life, having some hope and faith and belief in themselves, in me, and in love. But it's kind of the opposite for them. And so some high vibe people, their loving nature is in the driver's seat and their shadow nature's in the back seat. For other people, their shadow natures are more about themselves, more about defensiveness, more about things other than love is the driving factor in their life. And it's their loving nature that sits in the back seat. And we just have to see the truth. Everybody probably does what makes them feel stable and grounded. Everybody has the free will to either work through those issues or ignore those issues. Everybody has the free will choice. If I don't want to work through those issues and I think I can look victorious and successful in life not dealing with those issues, then that's my free will choice not to do that. But it does end up affecting them emotionally, how they interact in a relationship. And eventually some more high vibrational people might not want to keep staying in a relationship with them, even though they're sad. They also might not want to stay in a relationship with some of the more high vibrational people, because if during the course of that relationship, those people work through some of their issues, they're not the same person they were when they got into the relationship. And then, like, energetically, it's kind of like they view life differently, react to life differently, view themselves differently than they did before. And when we could have gotten in a relationship, we were in the energy or way of viewing life and feeling about life that we did. But if one person kind of does this work to free themselves from past pain and heartbreak and self-limiting beliefs and stuff, they have detached from that old foundation. They have given birth to like a new them. And if the other person hasn't done that work, then kind of energetically and how we view life and what drives and motivates us now, we're different. We're not in some ways on the same page that we could have been in different ways, but we could have had a lot more things in common about how we viewed life. Maybe we could have gotten in relationships again because one thing didn't work out. both could have kind of had hope and faith and belief and love, but one person kind of comes to realize maybe that they have more things that manipulate them than someone else, or they have a way of viewing life and how they want to move forward in life. The other person, we didn't kind of realize they have their own view of life and how they thought things were going to go and how we were going to move forward. And we just kind of realized that how we want to move forward is different. How emotionally we like to be open or invested in relationships can be different. And everybody can be sad and hurt. You know, we get in these relationships, I think, because we kind of can have a lot of things in common, even though we can know that there's differences in these things, that it'll all work out okay. And everybody can kind of think that. But there can get to a point where someone wants to break free of, you know, kind of repeating a pattern. And we'll all repeat certain patterns. The truth sets us free. And some people, again, did this work within themselves to free themselves. I'm just kind of looking to see if that person is holding the key, and they're not. But sometimes we can get in more codependent relationships. We're both looking to each other to be the answer to free me from these things. During the course of a relationship, one person could realize, you know, I'm really the one who holds the key. Other people can't free me from these things that emotionally kind of manipulate me. Nobody knows those things like I know those things. I kind of hold the key to freeing myself. And so then, again, they do that work. They kind of could see how things from their past and whatever, and they could even realize, oh my gosh, like, I don't know if any of you have had that moment where you're like, oh my gosh, I never realized that this kind of reminds me of the relationship that I had, like, with my dad or with my mom or something, you know, like, you have a lot of kind of traits and characteristics like them that I really hadn't noticed. It's kind of like on a different degree, but it's still there. And I think I was trying to get someone who kind of was that way to maybe be more open to love and would free themselves from those things that manipulate them, so we could let that go and that way of being go, and we both be free from it. But again, some of the things that manipulate us aren't exactly what manipulate them, or it's different things. And some people have a way of how they want to live life, what they view maybe as victorious and what they love. And, you know, again, if it's, I love being more about myself, I love more being defensive, I love making my life more about these things of the world. You, on the other hand, could be more about being inspired to free yourself from things that manipulate you. Oh, that is not on my list. You know? And so then we realize we have these different ways of being. And just like some of you went through that and are going through that, other people have went through that, other people are going through that. And when we kind of see the truth that I shouldn't try to change people, just like, you know, if people want to be loving and encouraging to me, I am my own individual. If I choose to live my life the way I want to live it, you know, and if other people are like, oh no, you should do this, and oh no, you should do that, or you should wear this, or, blah, you know, I want to live my life, and other people are free to live their life. We can offer people love and encouragement, and it can work for a time, and then it can get to be where it's not working anymore, and we've kind of found the area of where our paths diverge. You know, we can work out a lot of things, because if you were to kind of look at the Ten of Swords and the Ten of Cups and the Ten of Pentacles, there's a lot of things we can work through in a relationship. But when it kind of gets down, the Tower talks about at a core foundational level, where we have different truths. And we're either more motivated and inspired by love and a higher truth and justice, or we're more caught up in the world, or more about ourselves, or we're someone who doesn't want to pick a path. And, you know, so sometimes eventually we find, like, at a core foundational level where the difference was. And I think if high vibe people are willing to deal with the truth, the Tower card is a universe card, just like the Death card is a major arcana. We can want to stay in denial because we don't want to make these decisions. But it'll keep showing up. This is not aligned with your truth. Boom. This is not the solid, stable foundation you thought it was. Boom. You know, how long are we going to keep staying in denial of the truth? Because high vibe energy, represented by God at the big picture, wants us to hold ourselves accountable with the Hammer card, and to kind of look at life from a higher perspective. We can all be more inspired by these things of the world, but as we go through life and we grow and heal and mature ourselves, it's kind of transforming our more worldly nature. And fire can transmute the other elements. It can make water boil. It can make earthly things like gold melt. You know, to transform, to be more inspired, to let go of that more worldly view of life and a self view of life and immature way of life, or bossy or controlling or whatever way of life, stubborn, to transform ourselves to become all that we can be. Because high vibe Aquarius is about shining your authentic light in the world and being free of those things that manipulate you. And when you, as you go through life, and it can be hurtful and painful and difficult, but I need to be in relationships with people who are more on the same page as me. And I have transformed my life, and I am not the same person I was before. And I can have my fears about moving forward in life differently, but I am listening to my intuition and my soul, and it's telling me if I don't keep listening to my intuition and love to guide me, things aren't going to turn out the way I want. So I'm going to quit trying to manifest from this old idea. I'm going to deal with the regrets that there are certain people in my life that probably won't be moving forward with me in this way. But that is the whole thing of detaching from your more worldly view. And it's kind of like the divine wants us to get our divine inheritance. But until we transform ourselves and these emotional attachments we have more to the world, which is kind of a more non-life-giving energy, it'll transform our whole life. And that's how we'll get our true, like, divine inheritance. And the divine keeps trying to show us who is not on the same page as us. And so then fire sign energy can be about communicating with other people. And we communicate to people in our life how we've changed, how we've healed, how we've grown, how we've matured. They've kind of gotten out of their ego, learned these lessons. I'm moving forward in a more emotionally balanced, loving way. I've seen that other people could really be in a mental prison about love. Some people don't want to do love. Some people have these unresolved issues. I'm no longer, I can offer everybody peace, love, and joy and encouragement. I only want to move forward with people in my life who I think have had victory over those things, have accepted the gift to love themselves, to get balance within themselves, get in the driver's seat of their own life, to love and believe in themselves, that they've let go of the past, and then we're really moving forward in unknown territory. And we've really got to just let love and intuition guide us, because High vibe energy represented by God at the big picture. You're giving birth to something new. There is no template to follow. And that's why some people really have a problem with it, because it does require them to be more bold and creative and let love and intuition guide them and maintain balance within themselves so they don't get caught up in their fear and their insecurity. Like, oh my God, we're going into unknown territory. I don't have a template of the past based on people I've grown up with, people in my life, people in my community. I'm going somewhere I haven't been before. And that's the whole thing is high vibe energy is about being free. Free to live your more authentic life, let go of all the unwritten rules and regulations, and you let love and intuition guide you. And you're inspired in that more hopeful, believing nature just to work cooperatively with people to accomplish a dream. There's not like, oh, well, you have to do that. No, no, I don't do that. No, you're supposed to do that. And, it's just, let's work together. Let's be like playmates, friends. And we work together like children. We're working together to bring something of our own unique thing into reality. And there aren't all these rules and regulations of the past of how we're supposed to do it. We treat each other with love and respect and encouragement and being authentic and truthful. And we're manifesting our own thing. And as some of you are doing that, some people could be sad because there's things they weren't willing to free themselves from, and some could be, I have this idea of how things should be, and that kind of makes me feel safe and secure. And so I want to keep repeating that pattern, and we'll keep repeating a pattern till we're ready to let it go. And some people will never be able to let some things go, and some people will never let their more emotionally authentic nature out to play. Some people will never work through their past pain and heartbreak. And we just wish them peace, but high vibe energy is going to keep moving forward, giving birth to new things. Wishing everybody peace and love. If you ever free yourself from those things, come communicate with me. Will we get back in the same relationship that we were in before? No, maybe not. But we can be friends, we can get along, we can wish each other peace, get out of anger, get out of sadness, get out of anger. So then high vibe people might have communicated with some other people, and then those people need to do this work within themselves. Am I willing to detach from being more inspired by these things of the world or myself? Am I willing to get in the driver's seat, offer love to these things within me that manipulate me so I can be free to go live my authentic life? And while some of those people are working through that, high vibe people are staying in a place of balance and love to deal with the truth of the situation and to keep moving forward. What is coming up for some people who harness some high vibe Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? The Queen of Wands and the Six of Cups. Why? Because of the Two of Pentacles. So, I view the Queen of Wands as Leo energy and the Six of Cups as Scorpio energy. The Two of Pentacles is Capricorn energy, shadowy Capricorn energies represented by the Devil. All these non-life-giving things that manipulate us. And if we choose to instead love our more worldly nature, because Capricorn is earth sign energy, it is like our worldly nature. If we offer love and encouragement to our worldly nature, we're able to, the Six of Cups in Scorpio energy can be how we kind of reconcile ourselves with some of these issues from our past that manipulated us. And high vibe Leo energy is shedding light and love on them, because Leo energy is also represented by the sun. I choose to shed light and love on these things to heal, to see the truth, so that accepting everyone is where they are at in life, based on the lessons they've learned in life, is how they interact with people. Some people were very bossy and controlling, intimidating, superficial, shallow, hurtful, unkind, kind of some of them in destructive energy. Weren't loving and encouraging, tried to tear other people down, tried to get other people in shadowy energy, tried to make other people stop loving and believing in themselves, probably because they don't love and believe in themselves, and they wanted you to be in the same energy they were. And it was sad. Why are you doing this? Why can't we move forward in love? And they're like, no, you're supposed to do the relationship the way I want. And I'm not willing to move forward like that. You should be in a mental prison and have your pain and heartbreak just like I do. So you move forward more maybe in your ego and more about image and status and making your life about that instead of love, because that's what I do. And if you were to make your life about that, you'd maybe stay in a relationship with me and we could keep moving forward and nobody would change. And high vibe people offered love to it. I understand that people are where they're at and some people are still juggling. Haven't picked a path. Don't want to pick a path. And other people are like, I pick love. So in the Two of Pentacles, I'm picking up my investment in some of these people from my past and letting the past go. And I'm going to, in the Two of Pentacles, maintain balance within myself, emotionally maintain balance within myself, make peace with the past. I accept people are where they're at. They view life the way they view it. They're motivated by what they're motivated by. That's not my truth. I picked up my investment and I still have hope and faith and belief in my dreams. And I'm going to keep moving forward, being loving and encouraging to people in my life, to encourage them to love and believe in themselves, make peace with issues from their past so those things don't imprison them. And the people in my life who are willing to invest in me and work with me in a just and fair, balanced way, an authentic way, loving way, I'll keep moving forward with those people and I'll keep wishing the other people peace. And then I think as you move forward in that energy, there's going to be other people that will decide, you know, why do I live my life the way I do? And why do I hang out with the people I do? And I'm going to do this work within myself so that I can move forward with people like that, you know? And then, you know, we're just finding those people that are on the same page as us. So, and then we also invest our time, energy, and effort. Again, can know lots of people in the world that we can get along with, but the people I'm mainly going to invest my time, energy, and effort into are the people that I think I can have these more authentic, balanced, deep, meaningful relationships. Otherwise, people are acquaintances and friends. What's coming up for some people who might harness a more worldly, shadowy Aquarius energy that they might not see coming? The King of Wands, the Star card, and the Ten of Cups. Why? Because of the Four of Cups. So when people are being kind of shadowy in a workplace or some type of relationship environment, they're always going to have some more high vibrational people in their life, harnessing high vibe, Aries, Aquarius, Pisces, and Cancer energy. But the more kind of maybe worldly, shadowy energy might hold those energies in a more shadowy way. But because we can have similar dreams, and they could be a long-term friend, they're a family member, they're someone that we have love for, the high vibe people have been trying to offer them love, to be inspired to believe in their dreams and in love. But eventually the high vibe people kind of see the truth that the other people really don't want to do love. They might want to stay in the relationship, but they really don't want to do love. And then the high vibe people realize, I'm going to miss an opportunity in love if I keep staying here. Why would I keep staying in a relationship where I feel like people reject my love, don't offer me love? I need to offer myself love and believe in myself and believe in my dreams. And even though I wanted these people to move forward with me, if they are not willing to do love in a more emotionally balanced way, then I need to detach from them and I need to work through these issues so that I can come to peace about it and pick up my investment in them. And then if the more kind of shadowy people are like, nope, I'm not, you got to get out of your pride and ego to be willing to learn lessons in life and work more cooperatively with people from love, treat other people the way you like to be treated, be more authentic, do more deep, meaningful relationships. And some people aren't there yet, and they may never get there. So if they're going to continue, no, I don't take that cup of higher love. I don't even maybe believe in it. I'm maybe going to make life more about me. I'm maybe going to make life more about the world and looking like a shining star in the world. I'm sure I'll be happy. Well, they're going to have other people, and do have probably other people in their life who view life like that, who are willing to keep investing in them, because that's how they view life. And if they get in a more romantic relationship, it might be other people who don't really want to do love either. I also don't believe in love. I also don't want to deal with these issues within myself. Would this look like a good decision? Would this make me look like I moved on victorious? I look like a boss. I look like a shining star in the world. Look how happy my life looks. And for some people, it is more all about how things look is the most important thing. How they think other people view them. And they could really want to look really successful in the world. And maybe with some of the loving people, it would have been a very balanced relationship. You have some of the stability and the security and the finer things in life, and you have love. But for some people, it's like an addiction. But I need more attention, and I need more money, and I need more status, and I need more power, and I need, that's just what they feel would make them happy. And so they're probably going to go pursue that. And I think as those other people have probably already made their life about those things, and those people realize that it wasn't all it was cracked up to be. Some other people haven't learned that. And I think as some of these people move forward, I think they're going to feel like they missed an opportunity in love. They might have other people that are willing to move forward with them in a relationship, but maybe because of their own fears, insecurities, past pain, and heartbreak, this does look victorious and successful by a lot of ways, but it might not really be love. And eventually, they might see the truth of that, and then you have all these things that by worldly standards look great, but it's not authentic and loving and balanced, where people are free to give and receive love. That people might do it more out of their fear or codependency. Well, and if some people want to live their life, that's fine. Other people don't. So they might look like they're more victorious and successful, but it either might be superficial and shallow. It's not based on love. And the high vibe people are like, when's enough? I'm good. I want a balance. I want these things in the world, but I also want authentic, loving, just, fair people. And I'm not going to indulge people in order to have those things, or just to have those things. Other people are willing to indulge people, men and women. Well, what do you got? Are you going to require me to grow or heal? No? Perfect. Okay, I'll be in a relationship with you. You don't require me to deal with the truth of things and reconcile myself with my past? No. Perfect. Wonderful. I'll stay in a relationship with you. You're not going to require me to be more authentically myself? Quit living from my ego or my defensive nature? No. Perfect. I'll be in a relationship with you. And other people are inspired to free themselves from all those things, and they're looking to be in a relationship with other people. So different strokes for different folks. There you go, Aquarius. I wish you peace, love, and joy, and we'll see you next time. Bye-bye.